everybody, thank you so much for joining me for this video. I feel like it's been a long time since my last video, but I don't know, it probably hasn't been like that long, but a lot has happened in between then and now. I had to travel a little ways. I've just been on the road a lot, it seems like, but I had to travel for an event for the Illinois Broadcasters Association. It's known as the Silver Dome Awards, and I didn't think I was gonna really come home with anything, but I did win for Best Anchor, so that was really, really exciting. It's for the state of Illinois outside Chicago, so that was really fun. And then I went back home for a wedding for a couple of my friends, so that was great. I did the bride's makeup, so yeah, lots to talk about where that's concerned, but I do want to do a tutorial for you on the Sephora Colorista Palette, which was, oops, something fell out in there. It's that little pick that helps you pop them out, but that's the one downside. That kind of floats around in here, I've found, the more I've had this. But I reviewed this recently, so check out my review for all the ins and outs of that palette. But this tutorial is going to be focused on the look I'm wearing today, which is really some shades of lilac paired with navy. Typically, I might use black as like my contrast color to deepen things up, but I'm loving the look of navy with lilac shades. So this is a look at my little palette that I made for myself for this tutorial. So eyeshadows here and here. This is a lip gloss, and then I have a couple of blush shades. So I'm going to show you how I use all of this in this tutorial, so keep on watching. Alright, step one, I'm going to take my NYX HD High Definition Shadow Base, which I really like. I love that you can put it on and it only takes a small amount, and you can see it kind of neutralize all that discoloration on my eyelid, and it kind of gives it one solid color without being real thick. So it's like, I think it's actually a better version of Smashbox Photo Finish Lid Primer. So this is a really good value. So anyway, put that all over my lid, and then I have made my little Sephora Colorista palette, as I showed you here, just with all the different colors I want to use. And I'm going to start with this pretty kind of lilac shade here, and I'm going to load that up on a flat brush. Mine is from Sigma, and I'm just going to pat that all over the lid. And I find that these shades are pretty buildable, so just kind of keep going back and layering it on as much as you want, as bold as you want the color to be. And you'll find I'm concentrating it on the inner part, and then, you know, the outer part we're going to be putting a darker shade, so don't worry about that as much. Then with a little bit larger brush, this is my SS222, just kind of a crease brush here. I'm taking that same color and just really lightly getting it on the inner part of my crease here. And then I've taken a shade that has a little less purple in it and a little more of a bluish, kind of a periwinkle lavender. And I'm going to take a little bit of that on that same brush and just use that to slightly deepen the crease on the inner part here. Then back to my flat brush, I'm going to use a gorgeous bluish navy shade. This has some shimmer to it. It's really, really pretty. And I'm just going to be patting that on the outer half of my lid here. So it's going to be nicely deepened up. I love using navy as an alternative with, you know, purples instead of black, say, as your dark shade. I think navy really complements the look very well. And after you've patted it on there, I kind of like to flip the brush around, and I find it just gives you a really nice angle just to get that blue on the outside as well. Then using my 224 from Sigma, just kind of buffing out the edge of that. And then you'll notice here it's almost like the color just gradually extends up. And so I'm going to go back to the shade we put on our lid because it's got just enough warmth to it, just enough pink in that shade to actually make a really pretty sort of on top of the brow bone color here, right there. Really pretty. This kind of reminds me of like a violet or almost floral inspired look with some of these pretty colors we're using here. So I'm just using, doing really, really light applications, but you'll notice me going back to build up to it. So you don't want to just slap a whole bunch of color on there all at once, but continue building, going back, and get it as strong as you want. Like I said, what I like about a lot of the colors in this palette is that I find that they are pretty buildable. I'm using a small brush. This is my mini contour brush from Coastal Scents. I love it, but a Q-tip can do the same job as well. And I just took out a really frosty silvery shade out of that palette. So I get a little bit on there, and what we're going to do is kind of like a C shape or a half circle right around the tear duct, and this is just going to serve to really brighten this area and kind of just draw you in to everything that's going on around it. It almost gives it a little bit of a glossy appearance, a little bit dewy look on the eyes. So really high shimmer things can do that. And see how I'm actually taking it in? Look at how the shimmer goes up in here. So I'm taking it up, just whatever's left on the brush, and going up and around. Then just under the brow, we're going to do a little bit more there. See how now that's got a really nice highlight under the brow area. And then just maybe a little bit more under the arch and kind of flick that downward. To continue to emphasize the blues in this look, I'm going to be using a navy liner. This is from the e.l.f. Studio collection. The shade is called Midnight. It really comes off like a bluish black. So I'm just using a small pointed brush from MAC with this. Really any pointed brush with your cream liners I find gives a really nice detailed effect. Your line does not get too thick on you. So just go, I'm going to be going all across the upper lash line. I sometimes like to start in the middle though. Now cream liners do come in the Colorista palette. There just wasn't a navy. So just so you know, that's why I wasn't using the ones from the palette right now. You can see I'm thickening the line a little bit toward the outside, giving myself almost a little bit of a wing, but the wing is not going to turn out to be super important since we're going to put on some false lashes that will mimic that look. We could do no liner and have a winged look because of these lashes we're going to be putting on. So anyway, just kind of going around here, and I'm going to be taking it about halfway in. Also going to be lining the waterline. There's this gorgeous shade called Purple Blaze from NYX, and it's the slide-on liner. I think these are great for the waterline. I'm liking them more and more the more I use them. But yeah, just kind of gently expose the waterline so you can get that on there. And it's not going to be really dark, but it's just going to be kind of something different. It's not going to give you quite the wide-eyed look that a white liner on your waterline will give you, but it helps to go with this sort of sweeping motion we've got here with the outer corner once we have those lashes on. Then we're going to take a not so precise smaller brush, but it's a pencil brush. It's a 219, and this is going to be nice for layering over our lower liner to give it a little more of this smoky look. So I've put in an even deeper navy shade. So this is what was in on the outer corner. This is going to be like our liner topper here. So just get a little bit on your brush, and I'm just going over the top of what I did on my lower lash line. Also smudge that over the upper lash line as well. Soften that up a bit. Also going to take the little bit periwinkle shade, that shade right there, and just apply that a little bit right under the inner part. Being careful to leave our little highlight going on there, but this just kind of brings out more of the color we have in this look. Next up, I'm going to apply some false eyelashes. These are the Whimsical lashes from Coastal Scents, but it's the type that I said was very comparable to the Sonia Kashuk ones. That I featured these in my favorite false eyelashes video, but they're a half strip, longer on the outside. So take those, take whatever lash glue you like to use. I really swear by the Revlon Precision Lash Glue, so I'm going to apply these to the outer half of my upper lid and then join you with blush and lips. I'm going to actually do just a little bit of contouring with some bronzer since there's not a real deep contour shade in the Colorista palette. So this is my Too Faced Chocolate Soleil bronzer. It's a matte bronzer, and I'm just going to apply this right here Just kind of, you can see where sort of the indentation is there under the cheekbone, and kind of take it down under the jawline as well. Then I've taken a light pink blush that's in the Colorista palette, so I'm going to pick up some of that and apply that right here to the apples of my cheeks and up. It's a really pretty shade. I think it's going to look good on a lot of skin tones actually. And then I took this light shade. It's kind of like a super light shimmery blush, almost like a highlight. So it kind of reminds me of the Spotlight powder from Lilac. So the perfectly lit powder that's kind of like a highlight without being too shimmery. So I'm just going to apply that a little bit all over. And finally, I'm applying that pretty pink shimmery gloss from the Colorista palette all over my lips. So thanks a lot for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed the way it all came together. Again, those lashes that kind of flare out at the ends can give you the look of winged liner without really doing any fancy work with your eyeliner. Thanks again for watching. I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you again soon.